So we now need to link up the information that's held in our player to some suitable HUD content. So things like ammo and health are going to be really useful on our player's heads-up display. And this is actually a two-step process. So we need to make the visuals, but then we need to technically tie it in so that the player's providing the information to the user interface. So the first thing we'll do is jump back into our player HUD. And we need to add some content. So I will make this as similar to Unreal's documentation as I can. We don't have like an energy bar that they've got, but we've got health and ammo. So maybe in the top left we'll do this. And I might even use it as an opportunity to bring in a panel. So in terms of layout options, you have panels that let you make like a horizontal box that automatically organizes your content next to each other. So that's actually really useful in this case. So if I bring in a horizontal box, stretch it out a bit for the sort of size we would want the text in the bar to be, and then I'm going to need the actual content there. So let's bring in text first, so it's left of the progress bar, and let's bring in a progress bar. So you see the progress bar is tiny at the moment, we don't need to worry about that, but let's make this horizontal box a bit bigger, and then with the progress bar selected, you can just hit the fill option in the size, and that will just make it take up all the available space. This text block I'm going to change to say health, pretty much exactly as it looks in the Epic documentation. And there we go, we've got the setup now where we've got text, we've got a progress bar. Just to show you what a progress bar does, if I find the, I select it first of all, that would help. You can find the slider for percent here. Now it's a bit of a weird thing to call this percent because it's between 0 and 1. Actually, it's more like a ratio. Percent, you'd think it'd go to 100, but it doesn't. So if I set that at like 0.5, it's half full. So you get an idea of how it's working there. And there are various options you can tweak, so you can tell it to go in a different direction if you like. You can change the colour, so I might change this from blue to green. What I might eventually do is actually change this through Blueprint so it gets more red as we lose health, and it's nice and green when we're at full health. So there are different ways we can go with it. And then ammo as well, so maybe if we put the ammo, we could have used a vertical box actually and had the ammo underneath, but let's put the ammo over here. I'm actually just going to do this with the text field, so you can spend a bit longer organising it, making it look nice. So this text block can go over here, let's a bit like that. In fact, I should probably do 2, shouldn't I, because I don't want the word ammo to move. Never mind, you can fix that, make it look nice. You might want to sort your anchor as well for this one, so we want that text to constantly stay in the top right. So you can drag the anchor, or you can actually just set it like that. I want to align the text to the right as well, and then let's just give it like a dummy value. So text ammo 25 of 25, I don't know. Can't remember how many bullets I've put in my gun, but that'll do as a placeholder. So I've got a couple of pieces of information there that can link quite nicely to our player. Let's just see what they look like in game. We have got health, we've got ammo, but neither of them do anything. So you can see my ammo doesn't change. When I take damage, my health doesn't change. So the visual setup's there, we just now need to do some binding. So this is where we'll use the bindings available in that widget blueprint editor. So let's go back into it. We're going to take our first look at the graph in a second, but just before we do, because the graph's got some content in there, like things like constructors when it's made, and it's got a tick that will be familiar, but we're actually not going to use these to populate our text field or to change our progress bar. We're going to have them generate a function for us when we make a binding. So back in Designer, if I pick the progress bar here, you can see that the percent that we were changing before has this option at the end to create a binding, and if you click on there you can hit create binding and it will make a new function. So this function is what we want to do logically to generate the value of the percent. So we need to do something in here that gives us a number between 0 and 1 to turn into the progress on that bar. So we're going to need to get our player, and this will depend how you set your player up to store its health and stuff, but I'm going to assume you can take what I show you and apply it to your own player. So I'm going to drag off here, straight away I'm going to cast to first person character. We're going to do this to get our character reference. The object in question here is the player character. So get player character. And then if the bind is successful, sorry, if the cast is successful, this means we can grab, in my case, I can get my health, so I can get my current health, which is going to be important, and I can also get my max health. I'm going to get the current health and the max health from my first person character. Just make sure you get the right references to your own if you've used different variable names. I then want to divide my current health, so I'm going to just type a slash to find the divide. I want to divide my current health by my max health, and that will give me, hopefully, if I've done all my logic correctly in my player, it'll give me a value between 0 and 1, which I can plug into this return value, and that actually sets the percentage of the progress bar. So if I compile that and save it, jump back into play mode, we should see straight away that my health bar is full, which it wasn't before, so something has happened. If I now go and take damage, you can see that it ticks down quite nicely, and if I heal, it goes up. So that is pretty much spot on. I'm not going to die because that will freeze me. If we jump back into this, so that's the binding set up for the progress bar, so that's literally a number between 0 and 1. However, we have a different type of information up here. We've got text. Now if you've set yours up in a slightly better way than me, this will become a bit easier. So what I might do is actually chop the word ammo off just for the sake of simplicity. I'll just have the numbers. And then I'm going to hit bind here to create a binding. So this time the output value, the return value, is text rather than a number. So we've got to be careful to give it the right sort of information. You're going to have a very similar start, so we want to cast again. What you can do, and what the Unreal Guide suggests, is that when you create this widget, you actually just get and store a reference to your character, so you don't have to keep casting all the time, because in terms of performance, doing 2 casts every frame in this widget is not very performant. But I'm going to stick with it because it's faster for the lecture. So I want to get my player character, cast it. If the cast is successful, I want to get ammo. Get max ammo. Have I edited those variables out? Let's very quickly chuck them back in if they don't exist. Got them. Current ammo and max ammo. I might have cast to a different version of the first person character. Let's just make sure. Because we've got the one that Matty's made for you. And the one that exists by default. I might have just picked the wrong one. Let's check now. So get ammo. There we go. So I can get my current ammo. Get max ammo. And then in terms of turning this into suitable information, I actually want to make this into a string and then append them together. So I'm going to drag off here and I'm going to do toString. And then from the string version of it, I'm going to make an append node. So an append node just lets you stitch multiple strings together. So in first is the current ammo. In second, I'm going to do a /, and then I'm going to add a pin and bring my max ammo in. So that will do current ammo / max ammo, and I can return that. It will convert it from string to text, which is fine. Just make sure that this is all hooked up. So it's slightly messier than the other one. Hopefully it makes some sense. So we're casting to a first person character again, getting my current ammo / max ammo, passing that in as a piece of text to show on screen. So let's compile it, save it, and hit play. So now I've got 10 out of 30 bullets, so that's definitely worked, hasn't it? And if I fire, yep, you can see that that's ticking down. I think I've folded in a reload button with R. You can see we go back to 30. We can fire again. So that's really good. And there's 2 slightly different bindings. There are ways you can scale it up, so I did mention maybe changing your health, like the colour of the progress bar to match your current state, so we might as well throw that in. I don't think it'll take too long. I'm going to jump back into the HUD and jump back to my percent. This is going to take me forever now that I've said that, isn't it? So, just going to make a bit of extra room. So after we've done the maths here, let's drag in the progress bar. Just want to get it. And let's drag off it and set a bit colour. Set fill colour and opacity. So I do need to stitch this in as part of the execution. But I also need to do a bit of logic to generate this colour. So I'm actually going to use a lerp. I'm going to drag off here and let's do a lerp. So I want to lerp a colour. And A is going to be when we have no health. So I'm going to have that red. So low health is really, really red. And B is going to be at full health. So nice bright green. And the alpha here is a value conveniently enough between 0 and 1 that decides how far from A to B that we go. So I'm going to take the value that we actually plug into our return node. Is there a neater place for this? Maybe like that. Progress bar might just tuck in nicely there. So to set the fill colour and opacity of our progress bar, we're starting from red and moving towards green based on the percentage that the bar is filled. So if I compile that and save it now, give it a go, you can see that we're nice and green, and then as we take damage, it slowly becomes red, which serves a purpose. Did I hurt myself with my own bullets before? I did. That was unexpected, but yeah, I've killed myself. Which seems like, ooh, yeah, it didn't like that, so I've definitely broken something. That's a decent place to stop this one. Let's end on a bug. But in terms of getting your player HUD set up, we've done progress bars, we've done text, and we've done different ways to bind them both. So it's a useful stopping point before we move on to menus.